Excuse the haggard mess that I look like. It's been quite a long day. I've got a lot to talk to you about, so hopefully it won't take too long, but I'm going to try to sum it up as much as possible. I'll probably turn the comments off in this video. I don't really want any horror stories or any, I don't know. I'm coming to terms with what things are coming to be, and I don't know. You'll just see what I mean. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I've got a lot to talk about. So the last video that I posted, I said everything was great. We were cruising along normally. My only concern that was he might have been breached because of his movements, but other than that, everything was hunky-dory except for the hyperemesis. That's changed quite a bit. So the day after I think I posted that video, I think that was up on a Tuesday, I woke up Wednesday morning with severe pain by my incision, and it kind of freaked me out. I was worried about my uterus possibly rupturing or the incision rupturing, or it could have been normal stretching, but I wanted to call labor and delivery and see what was up. So they told me to come in and they did a bunch of tests, and then the doctor asked me if I ever had a fetal fibronectin test before. I said, no, I'm not really familiar with that. So she explained to me that it is a test that will determine if I'm at risk to go into preterm labor over the next 2 weeks. If it's negative, that's a great thing. If it's positive, they're kind of unsure where to go from there because it's not 100% guarantee. So she was so confident that the test was going to be negative that she sent me home to wait for the results, which I was more than happy with because the labor ward was busy that day. Literally every single room was full. To my surprise, she called me an hour later and let me know it was positive. So I had all these emotions come through me, and even though she said it's not 100% guarantee what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, this is just all that we know right now, the thoughts came into my head that I never had to consider before, like, what if I give birth to my son and he is too little to survive? I mean, we're past viability, but things happen. What's it going to be like to see him in the NICU? And it was just the emotions that I was feeling, and I was also feeling defeat because I tried so hard to cruise through the pregnancy without being high risk or anything like that, and that was coming to an end. So I just went through a lot of emotions on Wednesday. Anyways, they told me to come back that night for a steroid shot, and then they would give me another one on Thursday. So I went back Wednesday night to get my shot, and I was still having so much intense pain, and it was now in my back, and it really hurt. It's almost like an indescribable pain. So she decided to check the position of the baby, because sometimes that can, you know, stir things up and cause some discomfort. He was transverse at 31 weeks, which isn't a huge deal, but they kind of want to see baby down at that point. So they don't start getting concerned till 36 weeks. But the emotions that I was already feeling, just adding the transverse baby on top of it, because that meant any hope for a VBAC went out the window as long as he stays transverse. He can still turn and all that stuff, but it's just, I can give birth to a breech baby, I can give birth to a head down baby, birth vaginally, I mean, but I cannot vaginally birth a transverse baby. It's impossible. So I had a lot of emotions come through me. I was very upset with the fact that I might not ever get to experience labor the way I always wanted to. And this is why I might turn the comments off, because I don't want people to sit there and be like, just be grateful you have a child. Saying to somebody who's experienced birth trauma, just be thankful you have a healthy child, is one of the worst things that you can say. When you acknowledge what they've experienced and what they've always hoped to experience, that's much more appreciative. So it's just, I have a blog post written on that I can that better sums up how I was feeling at that time. overcome a lot of emotions. I've done some spinning babies. I'm going to see a chiropractor on Wednesday, who's going to do the Webster technique. But I was just in a really difficult place. And I can't really sum up how I was feeling then, but I wrote it down and it seemed to come out exactly how I wanted to. I'm still dealing with some discomfort, but his position changed. I went to my OB appointment today and I met with my primary OB. As I've explained in other videos, where I am, you see a practice of 6 or 8 OBs. You get assigned one primary OB who can make all the medical decisions for you, like if you need a C-section, what date that's going to be, if you need an induction, what method that's going to be, things like that. But you generally see all the OBs in the practice because the chance of you getting your OB to deliver your baby when you go into labor, probably not going to happen. So they want you to develop, sorry, I got a strong kick. They want you to develop a relationship with all of the OBs and get comfortable with them. So I met her and I was really nervous because that was the first time I ever saw her. And let me just say, what a freaking relief. She is an absolute gem. Everyone else that I've met with, no, I shouldn't say everyone else, but most of them that I've met with tend to, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as relaxed about a VBAC or a second pregnancy after a cesarean, I should say. They treat it more carefully, I guess? I don't know. And I've definitely learned the difference between a VBAC tolerant doctor and a VBAC friendly doctor. There's a huge, huge difference. VBAC tolerant doctors generally let you try for a VBAC with some strict stipulations, like going to deliver on or before your due date, no inductions whatsoever. My OB is not like that at all. She is going to let me go to 41 weeks, obviously, if he's head down. She let me go to 41 weeks, maybe 42, and if it comes right down to it, I'm just not going into labor, and it just comes down to it, like, do we induce or automatic repeat C-section? Most doctors would do an automatic repeat C-section, where she is willing to induce. Now, I haven't made up my mind how I feel about that, but it's nice to know I have that option. I was also told aversion would not be an option, not by her, but from somebody else because I'm a prior C-section. Not true. She would do aversion if I asked for one, which I declined. She wouldn't do one now because there's really no sense until about 36 weeks, but it's not something that I feel comfortable with anyways. And she did check his position. After doing spinning babies and an awful lot of crying and just begging and pleading with him to turn, he did to breech. So he is currently head up on the right side, and he is sitting with his knees, wow, that was a good example. Picture my elbows as knees. His knees like this, and his bum is right on my cervix, so I got a lot of baby bum, and it's a lot of pressure, and that explains a lot of the pain that I'm feeling now. So he kicks and plays with my bladder so much that every 2 seconds I feel like I'm gonna pee myself. It's awful. But the main concern today was that I have not been feeling him move too awful much. He's very slow to move, and it seemed to change after the steroid shots, which normally you would think would be different because it's a steroid, it gets hyper. And I'm not blaming the shot, I don't know, I think he just got himself into a position that he's comfortable in, and as I'm speaking, he's moving now, but he wouldn't pass his kick counts if I did them, I guess I shouldn't say that either, because he would right now. It would be difficult for me to get him to pass a kick count, is what I'm trying to say. So I was told to go back to labor and delivery today. I'm starting to take bets on how many times I'll be sent to labor and delivery before he's born. But I went back there today just for an NST test, and he passed. He eventually started moving. It took a little while to get him to move, but he did. And I mentioned before that they were going to do biophysicals every week starting at 36 weeks. That's actually starting next Monday. And that's because the pain that I'm in, which I honestly think now is his position and his lack of movement. So it's a good thing, I guess. I'm glad they're keeping an eye on it, and I feel really grateful. The best thing, though, I said, does all this mean I'm high risk? Nope. That's great. I'm really hoping that he turns head down, and I've come to a lot better understanding and peace with the fact that he is going to be born how he's supposed to be born, and I don't want to mess with fate, I guess you could call it. Like, I'm willing to do the spinning babies, I'm willing to do the chiropractor, but anything more intense, like a version, I'm not willing to do that, because what if I do it, and what if I get into labor and my uterus ruptures? Maybe this is not the way that he's supposed to come. So I'm just trying to think of it that way and be more positive. There's a lot of pros to an elective C-section. Like, you can pick the day that he's going to be born, you know when he's coming. I know my recovery is going to be fantastic no matter which way I deliver, whether it be C-section or not. It's going to be so much different. So I'm trying to focus on the positives. It's just that for those couple of days, I don't know, it was too much emotion for me, too many things going on. The main thing is, like, now more than ever, when they told me that there was a risk of me going into labor over the next 2 weeks, any thought that I had of having a vaginal delivery went straight out the window. All I wanted was a healthy child, and I didn't care what method of delivery, and I'm now getting back to that point. It's so hard to explain without trying to sound selfish or, I don't know. I really hope that I'm not coming across that way. It'd be best if you read my blog post. But yeah, over the weekend I had my baby shower, which is, like you can see, I had my hair curled, but it looks like a mess now. I got a lot of amazing things for my shower. I got mostly clothes. I got a lot of diapers. I got some bath stuff. I got a new diaper bag. Let me see if I can show you, if I can get it. Ugh. So this is my new diaper bag. I needed something big enough for the two kids. It's a J.J. Cole. This is huge. I'm so happy with it. You can probably hear those sirens. Anyways, I'm going to go wrap this up so I can go to bed. It's been a really long day. I feel like I've been getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning every morning. He's like putting so much pressure on my bladder. It's insane. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.